since we're on this topic, let's talk about this. What happened to the election? I thought Harris was going to win. I was wrong. I was way off. A couple things happened. Now we've had a week to sort of mull it over. We can kind of get a sense of what occurred here. We could play the blame game about Kamala was too left, too right. Cozied up to Cheney too much, not enough. Whatever you want to say. We can do all that, and I'll let the pundits handle that kind of stuff because they're already bickering about it. But let's just look at what occurred in the numbers because that makes sense to me. So this is just anatomy of the 3 Trump elections, how Americans shifted in 2024 versus 2020 and 2016. So this is just the change from when he ran in 2016 to 2020 to 2024. So what we're looking at is this first one here. So women went towards Harris, and men leaned towards Trump. So Trump gained with men from last time. He had plus 8 points, and then he beat her by 13 points. So he went up, and he even went up from his 2016 number. But Harris went down with women. That's essentially what happened here, guys. So if you're wondering why is it that he beat her, it's because women didn't turn out. A lot of women just didn't vote this year. Don't know why. Maybe they just don't want a woman president. I don't know what the excuse is for that or what the reason is, but that's what happened. Women just did not turn out and vote for her. So it ended up going to the men, and you see what choices we made. So Latino men embraced Trump. So white women and white men both went for Trump. 23% here for white men. So about what he got last time. White women went down a little bit, but not a lot. Latina women went for Harris, but Latin men flipped from Biden to Trump. Which is weird to me because, one, we're talking about the guy that took away Roe v. Wade, right? His justices did that. He'll probably sign a national abortion ban if they get it through. I mean, I'd be shocked if he didn't. So women have basically given away some of their rights, and they're voted for it. So there's that. And then Latino men, and Latino women even shrunk for Harris, if you see this on the far right here, Latino women. She went down, Biden got almost 40 points. She went down to 22. I think it's odd. I mean, because most Latinos are first, second, third generation Americans. They probably have family and friends or know people who are here illegally or on sort of tenuous temporary status or something. A lot of those people he's planning on deporting. So I don't know what the thought was here. I think a lot of them thought, well, it's not going to apply to us. I think that's a lot of what this is. And then, of course, the education divide. White voters, no degree, always go for the Republican. White women, no degree, go for the Republican. White men with a college degree slightly went for Trump by 3 points. Voters of color with college degree, she lost voter share there. She lost voter share with no degree. So it's interesting. I just think it's odd because she did lose share with a lot of people. Now, there is a reason for that, and we can get into that in a second here. These big demographics, there was a big shift, and there was a move away from incumbency. And that wasn't just in the U.S., that was worldwide. I'm going to skip here to Brian Tyler Cohen. I liked his take on this. He covers this pretty well, where he explains kind of what happened here. And this was a worldwide phenomenon. This wasn't just the U.S.
Favor. Just something to keep in mind, which I suppose brings me to the crux of my argument here in discussing what went wrong. So first, we can't have this conversation without acknowledging that the global environment was horrific for incumbents. According to the Financial Times, this is the first time since 1905 that every governing party in the world lost vote share. There was a global period of inflation stemming from COVID, and even though the U.S. managed a soft landing with no recession and 16 million new jobs, the reality is that inflation means higher prices, and higher prices means that people hurt. Doesn't matter to a lot of people out there if our inflation is less bad than other countries' inflation. That's not how people think of things, right? They're not comparing their egg prices to egg prices in Portugal. They're comparing egg prices to last month's egg prices or last year's egg prices. So again, doesn't matter that we're doing better relative to the rest of the world. All that matters is that they're hurting and they're going to take it out on the people in charge.
And he's right. And that's essentially what we found out here. I think it was Business Insider he got that from. But yeah, they basically went around and they noticed that, look, every incumbent political party or group worldwide lost voter share. All of them. That hasn't happened in over a century. And a lot of it is just inflation. Pounded people pretty hard. And he's right. Even though Biden did a great job of the recovery, we're having the best recovery, where we've got inflation way down right now. Things are going really, really well. It didn't happen fast enough. So they blamed the current regime for the situation, even though the situation was caused under the previous administration, right, under the Trump administration. So they don't make the connection. And he's right. They don't make the connection of, well, you know, we're doing a lot better than most of Europe and Asia. Well, yeah, but these people don't know that. They don't compare that. And as I've said before, the reality of the voting public in the United States is half of us don't vote. And a lot of them are proud that they don't vote. The half of us that do, you know, a percentage are hooked into Fox News and that whole right-wing, you know, rabbit hole. The rest of us that are liberals and pay attention are interested in that stuff, but, you know, we're reading the news all the time. And then you've got a big chunk of people who vote who just don't ever watch the news. They don't know anything. And they've interviewed people and asking them why they voted for Trump, and they're like, well, you know, I liked, like one guy cracked me up, was like, he's like, well, I know Trump will protect the Affordable Care Act, which he won't, but I want him to get rid of Obamacare. And then they explained to him, those are the same thing. And he didn't know that. So he just voted for have his health care taken away. But he didn't realize that. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what happened here. It's just a combination of stupidity, apathy, ignorance, and just, you know, people are a little bitter. They feel like their lives aren't as good. And they played on that. And Trump played on that successfully. He did a great job of tricking everybody. Because there's a lot of people out there who are having buyer's remorse right now. So